name's Chris from ChristopherHall.com, and in this video we're going to be looking at how to create a strong back so we can reduce our risk of lower back pain. And there's a couple of things that we need to understand. So what we're going to do is, in this first slide, we're going to be looking at what we need to do, and in the next slide we're going to be kind of looking at why. So for now, if we are talking about lower back pain and creating a strong back, the first thing we need to understand is our body has the ability to heal itself. All it needs is the right environment. And the right environment is mobile hips, mobile shoulders, and core stiffness. Obviously, with regards to mobile hips, mobile shoulders, and core stiffness, that needs to add up into good quality movement, because we can have really flexible joints and still lift very badly. So we need to be able to use those mobile hips and shoulders and that core stiffness correctly. But essentially, if we can put those elements together, our body will, to some degree, heal itself. All we need to do is just give it that right environment. So in some ways, that's all that we need to do. So what we're now going to look at when we click through is why we need to do that. So we'll click through. And so why do we need to create these mobile hips, shoulders, and give our body some degree of core stiffness? Well, when we look at our anatomy, and you could say our functional anatomy, i.e. the joints and the tissues that create the movement around those joints, is if we look at the picture on the left-hand side, I've tried to do the best I can with creating a metaphor or a picture for a spine or the torso, I guess I could say. So we've got the line going straight up through the middle. That could be described as the spine. You've got the ball on the top, which is the head, and then you've got sort of the diagonal lines coming off the spine, which would be the muscles. What we also understand is that the joints of the spine are cartilaginous joints. Now, a cartilaginous joint has limited range of movement, so it's not there to create movement. It's there to have balanced muscles to prevent movement. We can talk about the torso as the whole as the fixed point at which the limbs can move. So if we just move over to the picture on the right, you can see a third class lever, which is at the elbow. Now, a third class lever is the sort of most common lever in the body, and it tends to surround synovial joints. Now, synovial joints have large ranges of movement. They have muscles around them that are very powerful and very strong, i.e. the hips would be the glutes, the shoulders would be the pecs and the lats. So they've got very strong muscles around them. Now, these muscles provide movement. So what we've got are the limbs that provide movement and the torso that prevents movement, because the torso is the fixed point at which the limbs move. And if we can have a nice, strong, stable fixed point, what we can have is a very efficient flowing movement. So types of exercises that we would use to create a strong back would be isometric exercises like planks, side planks. When we use a quadruped, what we're also using are the limbs. Although it's only very light movement of the limbs, what we're trying to do with that is we're trying to control the torso as the fixed point and then move the limbs without moving the torso, if that makes sense. So by creating that environment, by understanding that anatomy, what we can do is we can then start to exercise in a better way. There are other variables that will create the strong back, which I haven't talked about in this video, but I will talk about in a future video, which is called motor control. So what we are starting to build now is a picture of how our body works. And as we start building the picture of how the body works, we can then start exercising more effectively. When we start exercising more effectively, we then start reducing our risk of injury and increasing our performance, as we may call it, but it all just depends on the performance that we need. It could be 100-meter sprinting all the way to, just being able to be sort of reduce our risk of injury for, sitting at our desk and picking our kids up from school and, things like that, everyday types of things. Okay. So many thanks for watching. I will speak to you in a future video where we're going to talk about motor control.